Welcome back, everybody, to another episode on EI Entertainment Studios, back at it with another debate video. Today's debate video, we're going to be talking about Mechani-Kong versus Legendary Mechagodzilla. Now, for people who have never seen a debate video on this channel, just a quick review of what I like to do is I like to open a door that's never been opened before. Now, yes, some returning viewers may say, well, Legendary Mechagodzilla technically exists now in the Monsterverse. Well, not yet, because Godzilla vs. Kong isn't out yet. So, I'm trying to speculate what the character's gonna be like, what would its backstory be, and most importantly, as I said, I'm trying to open a door that's never been opened before. So, if it were to be real, how would it level up against Mechani-Kong? Could it defeat Mechani-Kong, or would Mechani-Kong defeat it? And that's what we're trying to figure out today. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go over Mechani-Kong first, all of the backstory, abilities, characteristics, all the specs pretty much. Same thing for Legendary Mechagodzilla. Once we're done with both of these two kaijus, we're going to put them up against each other for a death battle. And then we'll see who the true king of the monsters is between these two guys. So without further ado, let's start off with the backstory of Mechani-Kong. Now, Mechani-Kong, obviously we know, is not part of the Godzilla universe, but it can be very easily. But not officially, right? So, Mechani-Kong was both designed and built by the international criminal Doctor Who to mine the radioactive element called X from the Arctic underground. But obviously, if you do watch the movie, you do come to find out that the robotic ape fails from the radiation, and it pretty much destroys everything. So they try to hypnotize Kong, the actual Kong, to do his job. That's what pretty much happens throughout the whole movie. So it's pretty ironic of what happens. So pretty much Mechani-Kong is an ultimate failure, but it becomes a massive, you could say a bioweapon, right? But it is a failure. It's meant to find this element X, but the radiation from element X pretty much destroys the whole functionality of Mechani-Kong. But some of his abilities do make up for that to make the actual Kong do it by hypnosis. So, that's pretty much the basic backstory of Mechani-Kong. Nothing special. Now, his height is around 20 meters, so he's a short one. He's not too tall. Now, I do want to give a quick disclaimer, though. Some of the abilities... Now, before I go even into that one, the abilities, I'm going to use the same names and the same pretty much specs as they are used in the actual film, King Kong Escapes, right? However, I may alter the functionality of the abilities just a bit here and there to fit the opponent of a literally a super strong opponent like Legendary Mechagodzilla. So I may alter some things here and there, but overall this is going to be pretty much the same, just to let you guys know that. So the abilities, I'm going to quickly skim over them. We're going to finish up Mechani-Kong, and then we're going to come back to the abilities and do a deep analysis of what the hell these things are at the first place, right? So we have Hypnotic light emitted from head, grenades on waist, super strength, and high beam eyes. Territorial level is high, aggression level is high, and biome is earth, obviously, as we know. So let's go back to the ability. So hypnotic light emitted from head. What is this? This is hypnosis. This is what I was talking about in the backstory, how they hypnotize Kong. So he has an hypnotic light emitted from the head, and pretty much he can hypnotize his opponents, right, to do whatever they want him to do, pretty much. So pretty simple. As I said, if you don't know what hypnosis is, pretty much you can control your adversary to do whatever you want them to do. That's hypnosis, or the hypnotic ability. Now, grenades on waist, you can shoot very, very strong big grenades from the waist that could do massive damage to the flesh or mechanics of his opponent. And from that said, he has very, very brute strength. Don't look at the size. Yes, size is 20 meters, but we remember Godzilla 1998. Size, it does not matter. If you get it, let me know in the comment section below. But he is super strong, and high beam eyes, he has eyes that will literally melt into the flesh of his opponents, killing any organ in sight or organelles. Okay, so that pretty much in a nutshell sums up Mechani-Kong. Now let's talk about Legendary Mechagodzilla. Now I have another disclaimer for this guy as well. I've used Legendary Mechagodzilla in the past of my own creation with the backstory. I've came up with the backstory and all that stuff, right? So the backstory, I'm gonna be pretty much doing the same backstory as I did because I think it fits greatly for this debate video. However, the abilities are gonna be the same, but with slight altercations here and there, specifically for using against Mechani-Kong. Same disclaimer as the original thing I was talking about, same here, will apply here as well. Okay, without further ado, let's begin with the backstory of Legendary Mechagodzilla. Legendary Mechagodzilla came into existence after the one head of King Ghidorah was found in the Pacific Ocean. The Ghidorah head was dissected and Titan DNA was extracted and was put into wire circuits to flow with artificial intelligence, and after tests and failures, a compatible environment was discovered. A robotic Godzilla body was made and the tested circuits were put inside to create Legendary Mechagodzilla. Now, I'm going to quickly skim over the abilities. We're going to finish him up, and we're going to go back to the abilities for a deep analysis. Alright, guys? So, abilities: EMP, gravity beams, electricity control, super missiles, instant repair, mechanism, and red alert blast. Height is 115 meters. Territorial level is maximum, aggression is maximum, and biome is Earth. Okay, now with that being said, now we can go back to the abilities and do a deep analysis on what the hell these things even are. So EMP, electromagnetic pulse, pretty much it could shut down anything electronic but itself, obviously. So a plane, a car, a watch, anything, an EMP will shut it down. Going off from that, gravity beams, this comes from the DNA of King Ghidorah, as we know, it's in there, right? And he has gravity beams, very simple, just the same exact gravity beams that King Ghidorah has, but the difference is they're even more electricized, so they're very electrocuted, even more than Ghidorah's was. Meaning they're more powerful, obviously. Next we have electricity control. Yes, within a 5-mile radius, Legendary Mechagodzilla can control all of electricity, focusing it on one area, obviously being his opponent. And that's gonna do a lot of damage. A lot of electrocution, obviously. Continuing from that, we have this super missile. This is an interesting one. This is a very interesting ability. I like this one. So, super missiles coming from Legendary Mechagodzilla are from the chest, from the legs, from the back, from the tail, from the top of his head, and from his neck. Very large missiles at the same time will be shot at his opponent, and they are super sharp, and they do not blow up on impact. They will hit his opponent, dig deep into the flesh, and then explode, just like the missiles in GMK. Very similar to that. Now, we have the instant repair mechanism. It's to a certain degree, of course, not passing 45% level of damage. If it passes that, this instant repair will not work. If it's 45% or lower damage, the instant repair can fix itself. Pretty much Legendary Mechagodzilla can fix itself. In a sense, right? And then we obviously have the red alert blast. Now this is the ultimate one where Legendary Mechagodzilla, it goes into red code mode and is on complete meltdown. Knows it's gonna lose the battle, is pretty much almost damaged. Think of if you've seen any Gamera film from the Heisei series, you'll know that the Gamras have this one I forgot what it's called, but it has a mechanism where if it uses it from the chest, it dies. And it's quite similar to that, but it's more deadlier. It's like a big nuclear blast, but the blast is anti-nuclear to his opponents because opponents do have radiation in their bodies. This is a negative, it's a non-polar nuclear blast, meaning so it's gonna destroy anything that's actually nuclear. And it will destroy himself and his opponents. Now if he's lucky, he might have a speck of himself surviving where he could be rebuilt by Monarch, but it's not gonna happen. Okay, well that pretty much sums up both Legendary Mechagodzilla and Mechani-Kong. Now it's time to go further into the death battle, where we've all been waiting for. So, this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna go with a rating of a far-range battle and a close-range battle. Now, what does that mean? Far range tests their abilities on a restricted level. Close range is all-out war. Now, on a very rare occasion, we may go into something called overtime. And if we do, I'll explain it. Now there's no need to waste time to explain that. So if we go there, I'll explain it, but no need right now. So far range, we're gonna start off with far range, less practical first. Obviously, there's gonna be limits to this. These monsters cannot be closer than 700 meters apart. So they are 700 meters apart and they are fighting right there. So we're gonna see what abilities, we'll start with Mechani-Kong. We'll see what abilities Mechani-Kong can and cannot use from a range of far distance. Let's go. Hypnotic light emitted from head. No. Too far for 700 meters apart will not work. Grenades on waist? Sure. Super strength? Not really. It's nothing, you could say defensive, but nothing offensive. High beam eyes? Yes. So 2 out of 4 will work. Moving on to Legendary Mechagodzilla. EMP? Sure. Gravity beams? Sure. Electricity control? Sure. Super missiles? Sure. Instant repair mechanism? Yes. And red alert blast? Yes. Every ability can actually be used with Legendary Mechagodzilla. So, going into a far range battle, I definitely see Mechani-Kong being the first one to initiate this battle, and using the grenades on the waist to kind of either, 2 things he's gonna try to do is give a warning to Legendary Mechagodzilla, as in, I'm here, you better back off, or let's fight. Either of that, and Legendary Mechagodzilla could take it either way. Obviously, knowing what's gonna happen, Legendary Mechagodzilla is definitely going to take it as a sign for war. And what is he gonna do? Very easy. He's gonna use EMP, and it's all downhill from there. And I could try to make this more interesting and say EMP doesn't exist in this creature, and he could use super missiles, gravity beams, and electricity control all at the same time, and they will destroy Mechani-Kong. Far distance is a complete destruction for Mechani-Kong. But let's be honest here. The EMP is completely going to destroy Mechani-Kong. But that's not going to be the end of him. Easy finish. Legendary Mechagodzilla will use the EMP and then use gravity beams, and it'll completely destroy Mechani-Kong from there. And it's all over. Remember, Mechani-Kong does not have EMP. That means he can be affected by it. So it's probably the shortest battle for a far range. That's pretty funny. But I think closer is going to be a more interesting one. So 1-0 in terms of far range for Legendary Mecha Godzilla. Now, close range is a whole different ball game. Face to face, no limits. Now we need to take into consideration this. Legendary Mechagodzilla is not too bigger than Mechani-Kong. Although there is a quite difference. It's not like humongously big, right? Like we've had, let's say for example, Legendary Godzilla being at around 119 meters, and then Godzilla Earth being at 300 freaking meters. That's a problem. This is still a problem, but not as big as that, obviously. Now, Legendary Mechagodzilla stands at approximately 115 meters tall, whereas Mechani-Kong stands at a little tiny 20 meters tall. But we did specifically say something about Mechani-Kong. Size does not matter according to Godzilla 1998. Hopefully you got that the second time. Now, he has super strength. Does not matter what size you are. Now, close range, we're gonna switch up the game and we're gonna say Legendary Mechagodzilla is the one to begin the battle, right? And he starts off with the super missiles and completely shoots that Mechani-Kong from a close range, and it definitely does a high rate of damage. Probably 20 to 35% damage on his overall body. But Mechani-Kong gets up, and remember, Legendary Mechagodzilla is definitely a man-made thing, and it needs to recharge its thing. So every time it shoots, it needs to stop for at least 3 to 4 minutes and just reboot. And that's the time where Mechani-Kong is getting up and getting ready for its response from Legendary Mechagodzilla. And what's gonna happen here is it's gonna be a shot from grenades on the waist, and then super strength is the biggest thing here. He's gonna get and keep on punching and destroying Legendary Mechagodzilla to a point where he grabs one of his legs and one of his arms and completely rips it out of its place. And then what happens next? Mechani-Kong uses the hypnotic light emitted from the head and makes Legendary Mechagodzilla decapitate himself because of hypnosis. Easy win for Mechani-Kong from a close range. I think Mechani-Kong is actually indestructible from close range because of the hypnosis. Far range, it doesn't go that far, so far range is not the best, but in reality, this would be the true battle, but this would leave us at a tie, at a 1-1, meaning we're gonna have to go to overtime. And overtime is an interesting one. We just rate them not off of war, just off pure abilities. So let's do that right now. Start off with Mechani-Kong. Abilities: hypnotic light emitted from head, grenades on waist, super strength, and high beam eyes. Alright, Legendary Mechagodzilla abilities goes as follows: EMP, gravity beams, electricity control, super missiles, instant repair, mechanism, and red alert blast. Out of the two, I'm gonna have to go with Mechani-Kong because of the hypnosis. He will be the winner due to overtime. So it will be 2-1 because of overtime. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Obviously, this is just my opinion. I'll have all their abilities and backstories in the description of this video, so you can debate me in the comment section below. Give me your opinion, what you think. Requests are also friendly wanted. And as I said, if you enjoyed, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing. Thank you so much for watching this video, and as always, have a great day.